Hi, welcome to Live Intentional Weekly. This week we tackle the ancient Buddhist riddle, if an ad is served but nobody sees it, do you still have to pay for it? Feeling zen? Good. Now, let's get all up in it. The debate over viewability rages on, with publishers and advertisers squaring off in an epic battle that will determine the future standard of viewability as a metric. On one side, you have brands and agencies like American Express, Group M, and Digitas LBI who absolutely refuse to pay for any non-viewable ad, backed by the belief that if an ad isn't seen, it isn't worth a sack of potatoes. On the other side, you have publishers who agree that yes, an ad should be viewable, but given the constant demand for more and more impressions and the finite amount of space on any given web page, believe that advertisers should be willing to pay a higher premium for that level of certainty. Advertisers, obviously, disagree. One thing that they can agree on, though, is that the current standard for viewability, which is that 50% of the pixels are visible for at least 1 second, doesn't really cut it anymore. Viewability has evolved into sort of a state of being. A state of being clearly visible in an uncluttered environment and surrounded by content that commands attention. Problem with that is that while there are technologies that give some insight into how viewable an ad is, none of them are really prominent enough to have set any sort of a standard. So I can see this going one of two ways. One, they compromise. Advertisers accept the fact that they're going to get fewer impressions but of higher quality and for possibly paying a little bit more, while publishers dedicate themselves to investing in technologies that will standardize measurement and designing environments that are uncluttered and filled with high quality content. Or we backslide. We end up overcrowding the above the fold space with pop-ups, pop-downs, pop-overs, screamers, spinners, exploders, and flashers, which, as you can see, is not exactly viewable. For more insight into viewability, just click on any of the links below. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you next week.